The Pokemon series has had many different spin-offs in the past, but honestly none of them have intrigued me as much as Detective Pikachu. Detective Pikachu is Game Freak's attempt at a much more narrative and puzzle-focused game that can be best compared to Ace Attorney or Professor Layton. So the question that needs to be asked is this: is it a good fit, or is it a mystery that is best left unsolved? The narrative of Detective Pikachu is something interesting. You take the role of Tim Goodman as he looks for his missing father in Rhyme City. On his search, he discovers his father's Pikachu. Tim has the ability to fully talk to his father's Pikachu, and he's the only person who can understand what he is saying. From here, the game is broken up into 9 chapters, each chapter having its own individual case that is part of an overarching plot. Honestly, the game's overall writing is pretty engaging and fun to go through. I love having the ability to talk to the Pokemon and get their perspective on their trainer, and to look at the case from another perspective. Tim and Pikachu also have some really good chemistry together, so it's always enjoyable to see how they banter back and forth. While the writing is charming and honestly really fun at times, the cases themselves left a lot to be desired of. You are more than likely going to figure out the culprit near the start of each case. It was so bad that I actually figured out who the main villain was well before the game really tells you or provides you any hints of who it could be. It can be that obvious at times. While I did enjoy the writing and enjoy the conversations with the Pokemon in the main cast, a lot of the supporting characters all fell flat and their development seemed really inconsequential. The gameplay of Detective Pikachu isn't really much to talk about in this regard. You and Pikachu go around different environments gathering testimony and using your case notes to solve puzzles. All you need to do is match up testimony that fits with the current question of the case, and Pikachu does the rest from there. To make it a bit more challenging, you can find a lot of bad testimony when investigating. These are just lines of reasoning that really have no correlation with the question at hand, but sometimes it may make you think they do. The problem is, there's no penalty for getting anything wrong. If you do mess up, Pikachu just tells you to try again. You're never really in any urgency to not mess up. You could literally cycle through everything until you figure out what happened. When it comes to the puzzle and investigation mechanics of this game, it's just really bare bones, but for what it's trying to do, it does manage to get the job done. Outside of investigations, you'll sometimes enter a scripted scene in which you'll have to successfully perform a quick-time event to progress. Examples of this would be dodging an enemy Pokemon's attacks or performing some death-defying stunts. I will admit some of these quick-time events caught me off guard, which led to some pretty hilarious fail states. While they are nothing special, they are a nice change of pace. Finally, on the presentation standpoint, Detective Pikachu is a solid looking game. All of the scenes you explore are pretty cool, and sometimes they can suck you right in. Pikachu also keeps things lively, as at times you can consult him for tips. Honestly, he's just there acting goofy and serves more as a comedic relief when you're not doing anything else. The English voice acting in this game is also a bit hit or miss at times, but overall, the voice acting is pretty solid, but the game does provide an option for Japanese audio. Detective Pikachu is an interesting spin-off to say the least. While it doesn't really add anything to the puzzle or visual novel genre, it is still a charming adventure. Sadly, it is easy to see the target demographic for this game are young children. This game can easily be a good entry point for kids into this genre if, say, Professor Layton or Ace Attorney is too much for them. I honestly wish there was more to do in this game, such as the writing had more to offer, and mysteries weren't so obvious. If Game Freak does make a sequel, which they probably will, I hope they can add more in terms of challenge and character development. And that does it for our review. To see the written review, be sure to check out our website, GamingGamma.com. A link to the site will be down in the description bar below. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments section. I would love to hear from you. And if this is your first time checking out my channel via this review, hey, be sure to stick around and subscribe for future reviews, let's plays, commentaries, and more. And as always everyone, thanks for watching.